What if I told you that one of anime's most iconic characters, Shinji Ikari from Neon Genesis Evangelion, holds a mirror to our own existential crises? Shinji Ikari's existential struggles and the wisdom of Stoicism. Shinji embodies the raw, unfiltered emotions of someone lost in the overwhelming tide of existence. He feels isolated, unloved, and pressured to meet expectations he never chose. These struggles resonate deeply with many of us: the fear of failure, the search for purpose, and the weight of responsibility. Now, imagine this: what if there was a way to turn this anguish into strength? What if a philosophy from ancient Greece held the key to transforming Shinji's pain, and perhaps even ours, into a pathway to growth and fulfillment? Enter Stoicism. This ancient philosophy is not about avoiding pain or suppressing emotion. Instead, it teaches us how to face life's inevitable challenges with resilience, clarity, and purpose. In today's video, we'll explore how Stoicism could guide Shinji through his internal struggles and, in doing so, reveal lessons that we, too, can apply in our own lives. Shinji's greatest source of suffering stems from the question, why is this happening to me? Why am I being forced into this role I never wanted? This is where Stoicism provides a powerful lens. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that life is divided into two categories: the things we can control and the things we cannot. Shinji is consumed by the weight of things outside his control: his father's expectations, the responsibility of piloting the EVA, and even the fate of humanity. His fixation on these external pressures magnifies his fear and helplessness, creating a cycle of despair. Stoicism offers a radical perspective: let go of what you cannot control and focus on what you can. For Shinji, this would mean accepting that he cannot change his father's actions or the circumstances that demand him to fight. Instead, he can control his own reactions, his effort, and his attitude toward the situation. Another cornerstone of Stoicism is virtue. Unlike fleeting happiness, which depends on external factors, virtue is about living with integrity, courage, and wisdom. These are the qualities that give life its deepest meaning. For Shinji, pursuing virtue would mean shifting his focus. Instead of agonizing over what others expect of him, he could anchor himself in his own values and strive to act with courage, even when afraid. This shift from external validation to internal purpose could help him reclaim his sense of self. Shinji's internal conflict is perhaps the most relatable part of his character. He isn't just fighting angels, he's fighting himself. His feelings of worthlessness, fear of rejection, and overwhelming guilt consume him. This internal turmoil makes Shinji feel powerless. Every time he's called upon to pilot the EVA, he hesitates, paralyzed by his own insecurities. He views himself as a pawn in a cruel game, unable to escape the expectations placed upon him. Stoicism teaches that strength lies not in avoiding challenges but in how we face them. For Shinji, embracing his role as an EVA pilot doesn't mean loving it, it means accepting it. This acceptance isn't passive, it's an act of courage. It's about saying, this is my reality, and I will act with integrity and resolve within it. Furthermore, Stoicism emphasizes the idea of agency. Shinji cannot control the existence of the angels or his father's manipulations, but he can control his own mindset and actions. By focusing on his inner world, Shinji could cultivate resilience and begin to see himself as more than a victim of circumstance. Could this approach empower Shinji to move forward with purpose, even in the face of overwhelming odds? Shinji's existential struggles echo the core question of both existentialism and Stoicism: how do we find meaning in a world filled with uncertainty? Existentialism, often associated with figures like Sartre and Camus, emphasizes radical freedom. It suggests that meaning is something we create for ourselves, but this freedom can feel overwhelming. For someone like Shinji, who already feels burdened by his choices, existentialism might seem like a philosophy that amplifies his despair. Stoicism offers an alternative. Instead of placing the burden of meaning solely on the individual, it anchors meaning in virtue and resilience. Stoicism acknowledges that life is unpredictable and often unfair, but it provides a framework for navigating that chaos. For Shinji, this means understanding that he doesn't have to create meaning from scratch. He can find purpose in how he chooses to live, in striving for courage, wisdom, and self-discipline. While existentialism emphasizes freedom, Stoicism emphasizes responsibility. It's about finding liberation not in escaping hardship but in facing it with dignity. This comparison reveals a crucial insight. While existentialism might leave Shinji adrift in the sea of his own choices, Stoicism offers a lifeboat, a way to navigate uncertainty with purpose. Shinji Ikari reflects our own battles with suffering. Stoicism shows us how to face it with resilience and inner strength. But, is this the only way to make sense of pain? St. Augustine offers a completely different perspective on suffering, one that sees it not as an obstacle to overcome but as an invitation to something greater, something beyond human strength. What if suffering isn't just something to endure but an opportunity to connect with the divine and find a deeper purpose? To uncover this perspective, check out our video on St. Augustine and his approach to the anguish of existence. Perhaps the answer to our struggles lies in exploring this alternative lens.